Do you have any plans? You going to Rome with Father Rocky this year? He's going in the fall.
I wish, no.
Wouldn't that be nice?
The best of the week on Relevant Radio.
Let's hit the ground running. We'll get first to Emily in southern Maine. Good morning, Emily. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. I just had a question about the Jubilee. I know to get the full plenary indulgence, you need to travel to Rome. I didn't know if there was a way to participate in the Jubilee without traveling all the way to Rome.
Oh, absolutely. And there's no such thing as a full plenary indulgence. You either get one or you don't. It's as full can get. I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But during the Jubilee year, of course, the vast majority of people in the world cannot get to Rome for financial and work and children reasons and other reasons. So the holy doors that are one of the most significant aspects of the Jubilee year are indulgenced. So when you go through the doors in any given church or shrine that has been designated, and you have to look up at your diocesan website. So you're in southern Maine, you're in the Diocese of Portland, I believe. That's the only diocese, if I'm not.
Yeah.
So I think if you look up on their website, Emily, it will stipulate which parish churches, probably the cathedral, I would guess, are designated as churches that have the holy doors. And then as long as you pass through the holy doors in any of those churches or anywhere else that's been designated that way, you can receive the plenary indulgence. Let's talk about that for a minute. Even the name plenary indulgence it describes what I'm referring to, and that is that it's a complete remission of all punishment due to sin that has been forgiven. So in other words, if you're in the state of grace and you perform the prescribed duties or requirements for the indulgence, you have no attachment to sin. And that doesn't, by the way, folks, it doesn't mean that you have an emotional feeling. It's good if you have it, but you don't have to have it. It's an act of the will. And it simply is enough for you to say with complete certitude, complete conviction, here and now, I want to never commit any sin ever again. So help me God. In other words, I can only do this by your grace, Lord. But my desire is not to ever commit any sins out of love for you. And I reject and renounce all the sins of my past life. And that would include taking pleasure in remembering a past sin. You may have been sorry for it. You may have been absolved of the sin in confession, but you may harbor the memory of it in a negative way, in an immoral way, by remembering it and enjoying the pleasure of the memory of it. You have to, with an act of your will, renounce all of your past sins and renounce any interest in or desire or willingness to fall into sin in the future. So it's really an act of the will, not an emotion. Emily, forgive me for adding that little bit in there, but it's one of those topics that people probably should hear more frequently. So that's it. Yeah, so then you gain the plenary indulgence, and all of those sins that have been forgiven in your life are remitted. And the punishment, I should say, for those sins is remitted, so that you set the odometer back to zero when it comes to any penance you might need to do for past sins. So whether that plenary indulgence is gained here or wherever in the world, or it's gained when you go to Rome, either way, you have a plenary indulgence. There's not a more powerful indulgence in Rome waiting for you that you can't get unless you go there. They're one and the same. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Do you have any plans? You going to Rome with Father Rocky this year? He's going in the fall.
I wish, no.
Wouldn't that be nice? Well, you can always pray. Who knows? Maybe the door will open a holy door for you that you can go to Rome with Father Rocky.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Like what you just heard? Share it with your family and friends. And thanks for listening.